All right, we did it.
We are officially live.
Well, welcome to both of us on the Majlis Podcast, first episode. How do you feel?
I feel excited. I feel good. I feel like we put a lot of effort, work to get to this point, so I'm just ready to get started and get going. How about you?
I'm excited, man. Like you said, we had an idea and now we're making it happen. Well, let's start off by introducing ourselves to our audience as well. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my full name is Nurullah Habib Zoy. I go by Noori for short. I was born here in United States. Both my parents are Afghan. I speak Pashto. I was born in Sacramento. Was raised here. Spent most of my time here in Sacramento. I went to school at UC Davis, and I am an IT consultant now. What about
Dope.
you?
Okay. A little bit about myself. I was also raised in Northern California, just, your average kid going to school, playing sports, played sports in high school, traveled around for sports. I've always been really big on Afghan identity and stuff, always been very proud like yourself. Kind of grew up making some skits here and there with my brother as well, and always trying to connect with the Afghan community. So I think that's why when you approached me with the idea of the podcast, I was all over it. I was down. So that's a little bit about myself. Connections wise, you mentioned you went to UC Davis. I went there as well. We were roommates there. Tell us a little bit about that, our time together.
Well, I actually wasn't even planning on going to UC Davis, but
Yeah, that's right.
this guy over here, one day when I was helping him move in, the real reason he asked me to move in was so he can convince me to come to Davis with him.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, where it all started. I think you guided me in the right direction, told me a lot of important stuff about why it was good to go to Davis. My other options were, good as well, but, I think ultimately, looking back at it, Davis was probably the best thing I could have gone with. I knew a lot of people going in. I met a lot of great people, a lot of Afghan people. And ultimately, it was just a good school, got a good education. And then I got to network with a lot of great people, so can't complain much.
Yeah, and I think, for me, Davis was always I'm going to go to Davis. I didn't even think about other schools because both my elder siblings went there, and they used to take me when I was a kid, and I would be like, wow, this is awesome. They have a bowling alley on campus. I was a kid,
Yeah.
Now I look at it, yeah, there's a lot of other great schools too, but as a kid for me, I was like, this is the school I'm going to. But I think that's why we're even here, right? The reason why it was always an option for me was because I saw my siblings doing it. They inspired me, and then I was able to spread that message to my friends, hey, no, let's go here, let's do this. So let's talk a little bit about our mission, right? Why we're here and what we hope to do on this podcast.
No, absolutely. So ultimately, our mission with this whole podcast, at least my vision, it's actually, I'll start where it all started. So I run this organization on the side for Afghans called the Afghan Sports Community. We've been live for about a little over a year now. We host basketball leagues, basketball tournaments. We've done a soccer tournament, and in the next years to come, we want to expand into other sports as well. But it's designed and mainly set up for Afghans to come together, unite in a sport, have fun while networking and getting to know each other. So in one of my leagues, we had a crazy game, and some guy in our league was like, "Yo, we should have a podcast about this league." And it was all jokes when it started, but when he said that, I had that idea just stayed with me, and I thought about it for a week or two, and I was like, that might not be a bad idea. There's not really that many Afghan podcasts out there for Afghans to listen into, at least in English. I know there's a lot of content out there in Farsi and Pashto, but I feel like those are more geared towards like not American Afghans, more towards like Afghans as a whole. But there was nothing geared towards Afghan Americans. So that's when I really thought about it, and I was like, this could be a great idea if it's executed right. So that's where it kind of all started, and then that's when I was like, all right, I'm the perfect person to come to this idea, and then that's when I came to you about it. So what did you think when I first came to you with this idea?
I was like, man, like I would love to just get on the mic and talk. No, yeah, I mean, I think you remember my reaction. I was like down from like the get go,
Yeah.
And then it took us some time. Definitely a lot of challenges we ran into, but you just have to keep going. You just have to push forward. You have to persevere. I mean, just today, just to be able to do the recording today, like we ran through a bunch of hurdles, a bunch of challenges. We could have gave up and said, no, we'll do it another day.
Right.
But we did it. So I think, it requires some passion on both of our ends to put up with all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
No, same. And, I could have gone to a lot of people with this idea, but the reason I came to you specifically was because I know of all the people I know how passionate you are about the Afghan community as a whole. And if there's anything you could do to help out personally, I know you are the type of person that would go out of your way and make sure you can make a difference for another Afghan.
You're making me blush, bro.
Oh. You did it for me, and I've seen you do it amongst like your peers as well. A little context, me and Mansoor were both roommates in college. So I lived with this guy for 2 years. I got to know him pretty well. I thought you were a good person before I met you, but after living with you, I knew you were even a better person. I can't let you air
this if you talk this nicely about me, bro.
No, you're just being humble. But ultimately, I know like if we want to accomplish our goal of trying to give a platform to successful Afghans in different industries, different communities, I know you are the right person to conduct a lot of those interviews, a lot of those discussions, and find out a lot of the information.
Thank you, bro.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, dude, me too. I think we're gonna do great. I think anything done with two people on the same mindset, with the same vision, it's bound to be helpful. And at the end of the day, we're doing this for our community, and we'll just bring it back to our mission, right? So I'll even just read this out. Like, our podcast mission is to bring the Afghan community together, and we want to do this by recognizing our fellow Afghans who've done something really special. And we aim to share their stories, and through this create a collective learning experience for all of us, for you, me, as we're interviewing them. They have their life experiences, their trials, tribulations, and how they overcame it and how they achieved certain things. And we're all just going to learn from it. I mean, us conducting the interview and our audience, out there watching it. So right. That's our mission. Do you want to delve a little bit deeply into, how we want to do that, with how this is going to bring the community together and how this could be a learning experience for all of us?
Yeah. So kind of like I mentioned earlier, I don't think there's anything out there like this. There's not a podcast out there that brings Afghan professionals amongst different industries, different areas onto a podcast, and we dive into their story and see their upbringing, the challenges they faced, what they overcame, and how they got to where they got. So I think ultimately, like, that's where we can be the first to get in that space. And I feel like a lot of things can be taken away from this beneficial. A lot of people can take away a lot of good stuff. They can take away a lot of things to not do in their own life. I know, just if for me, as not just as one of the hosts, I feel like even if I was someone that was listening in, I know I would be very interested to hear the different stories of whoever we bring on, because if there's one thing that I can say about Afghans is once one Afghan sees another Afghan accomplish something, now it's possible. So I'm hoping that the people that we bring on inspires other Afghans to do the same, or at least see that there is someone out there with the same story and same background as you, and it is possible for you to do the same.
Yeah, I like what you said there. A lot of times when you want to convince an Afghan to do something or to try something new, the best way to do it is like tell them like, look at this guy or look at this girl, she's Afghan. You don't even have to mention she's Afghan. As long as they know she or he is Afghan, it becomes a reality and a possibility.
Exactly.
And I think, it has everything to do with, like, we all know that we all have the same struggles.
Right.
And sometimes we see, other folk from different ethnicities and different backgrounds achieving things, but we think that we put that mental barrier, like, oh, but they're not going through those same societal, familial, cultural problems or historic problems that our community has faced, with the years and years of war and being a refugee, moving around. So then if you think another Afghan has done something, right, you think, okay, this person probably had the same problems that I have, right? We have shared experiences, shared problems, but they were still able to do it. So I think that's why it makes it more of like a reality. So I definitely think with bringing new people, different people, and bringing their stories to light, it's going to be very inspirational for the Afghans around us and for ourselves.
No, exactly. I think you hit on every single point that I was thinking about. So I think that's exactly what we're hoping to accomplish. So
I think what we kind of expectations from, if somebody's listening in or watching this on a social media platform, we would like your support, right? We would like your support. We would like to bring good content for you guys, and we would love some constructive criticism, or feedback, should I say. And also another thing is, as we get the ball rolling here, if anybody has someone they know that, they'd like us to bring on, or they'd like to recommend, or get in touch with us and let us know, the opportunities are all there.
Exactly. There's a lot of successful Afghans out there. Finding them is the hard part. So if you guys know anyone, or if you're someone that's listening to this and you think you could provide some value, reach out to us. We'd love to bring you on. We're located in Sacramento, so we don't mind bringing anyone up or going places. So we're open to everything. So we'll see.
All right, let's do it, bro.
Let's do it.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us at the Majlis Podcast. We would love your support, so please like, comment, share, and subscribe.